Okay, so we're on page 47. Go ahead. 47. So one thing I need to remind you, and I did mention this yesterday, if you were here, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But we got this memo sent to us. You know when they sent it to us? The day of the exam. So first semester, the day of the exam, we get this booklet. Students are already about to write the exam. I can't tell them anything anymore, right? And we're like, hey, by the way, Manitoba no longer charges sales tax on home insurance. And I'm like, wait a minute, I taught it with having taxes. So that was a bit of a oops, right? Because the whole time since COVID, they hadn't had an exam for a long time. So this last semester was the first exam after a long, long time. So just make sure that you do not add taxes. And by the way, they won't ask you after tax, so it shouldn't trigger the one times 1.07 or times 1.12, hopefully, for you. Okay. I do agree that this is a tricky. Sometimes these can get a bit tricky, but I did see a lot of you trying, and it was fairly simple to clarify for you. Like I could see, like, hey, watch out here, don't make that mistake. So, way to go. You have to, okay. Last, but I'm gonna say one more time. You have to pick one from the orange section. One of these numbers has to be picked. And if you max out, so your 75,000 is your max out. Okay, so you grab 359 and then you would pay 450 more for every $1,000 under a standard, and when it's comprehensive, it's 550. Okay. So what I will do is I will switch it a little bit on you here. Under the formula here, this one is the same. This is on 48. It's the same formula for homeowners insurance, except for, let's keep going here. You know, there's a lot of terms. I'm gonna wait for that a little longer. I'm just gonna ask you to go to page 50. And you're probably thinking, whoa, what's up with that, right? Don't panic. We'll get you through it. Let me just find the. You see this table? You have this on your pink chart as well. You just have to pay attention right now, okay? You have to pay attention, otherwise you're gonna be lost. But if you pay attention, you will be fine. So this is the same table that you have. It says on the top here, homeowners insurance on in your pink tables, and that little booklet, it says it there. So as soon as you're hearing someone owns a house, you need to go to that table. Condominium, house, same thing. You own it. And so what is written on here? You must pick a number from here. I will say pick one. It's almost like filling out your lottery ticket, right? I'm going to pick some numbers here. You have to pick one from this region right here. However, there's more going on here, okay? Look at the top here. You could be living in Metro Winnipeg, which is anywhere in the city of Winnipeg. It won't always say Metro Winnipeg, it will just say Winnipeg. Or you could be living in Area 2, Area 3, or Area 4. So the question will have to give you, okay, where do you live? Do you live in Area 2, 3, 4, or Winnipeg? Okay? And then, furthermore, it will have to narrow down between standard and comprehensive. So any which area that they're telling you you're in, let's say Winnipeg, they have to narrow it down between standard and comprehensive. So you will go down either this column or this column when it comes to Winnipeg. And then on the side here, you have all the amounts that you can insure it by. You can tell that they're much greater than tenant insurance. Why do you think that is? You're owning, there's a building plus all your stuff, right? My brother's sister-in-law, they lost their house. Was it a year and a half ago? There was a fire that started in the garage. They were sleeping middle of the night. It's like minus 30 outside, and her husband wakes up and hears something, and like doesn't smell anything, just hears like crackling, and he's like, "What's that?" So he all of a sudden realized that there was like a fire in the garage. Took the kids out, like just grabbed whatever they could and just got out of there. And then soon after that, the whole roof of the house was on fire, right? So they lost basically all the furniture, couch, anything you possibly. Your curtains are garbage too. They smell like smoke, right? It's like a fire damage to almost anything in the house. So they had to like rebuild the house, and you have to kind of prove that you own stuff. So they, for some reason, I don't know why, but they kept receipts of everything they ever bought. Maybe that's a good idea, right? I have a PDF scanner. Any big purchase I make, like a computer, iPad, bike, anything like that, I just have it like a running, like it just keeps adding pages, and I have those scanned, and every once in a while I email it to myself. It's like, hey, receipts up until this point, right? So then it's in your email. And so, but they'll ask you, like, what did you have? And if you have the receipts, they can replace all of your stuff, which is huge, right? Imagine buying all the furniture again, even if they replace the house. The stuff is a lot of money as well. So that's why it is way more. But where does it max out? Let's write max here, right? It maxes out at 200,000. But for every column, whether it's standard or comprehensive, you can add more. So I'll say this, right? If you want additional coverage, you can do so at a premium. At a premium. So don't lie to them, though, if they ask. They will ask you, when I got my insurance, like, do you have a fireplace in the house? If you lie about it, you're like, no, I don't, and a fire is caused because you're using the fireplace, they might not insure you, right? So you got to be careful. Be honest about what you have, okay? And there it is again one more time. A $200 deductible. Think about it this way. This is at the end of your table. So this is the last thing we do when we calculate our cost, okay? Last thing we do. So we multiply by 1.10. Last thing we do, okay? There we go. This is the table we're going to use. We're going to use the exact same formula, and now we're going to calculate the cost for homeowners insurance. So come with me. Page 51. Actually, page 52. We will very quickly get rid of the after-tax part. On page 52, get rid of that. Okay. Make sure it's not even visible, right? Make some art out of that. I don't know. Some of you are really good at that. So I get rid of all of this. I made a note already. Right after you leave today, I'm going to get rid of all of this extra stuff here. Here it is one more time. I would say, and honestly, this should be highlighted because a lot of students forget to do that part first if it is applicable. 90% of the time, this on the exam, this doesn't show up. Like there is no overage. This just won't happen. But sometimes it does. And so then you need to be prepared to do this step. But if it doesn't go over, what's the max for house owning? 200. So if you're insuring anything less than 200, you basically forget about that. It's not even gonna, you don't worry about it. And these square brackets are there, meaning do everything that happens in here first. Then at the end, multiply by 1.10. That's what this is saying. So why don't we do this here? I will say for tenant, right? The max is 75K. Homeowners, Homeowner, the max is 200K. Which means that if you're looking at tenant insurance, if you're over 75K, then this is going to be there. If it's homeowners, if it's past 200K, then you're going to have to do this step right here. Okay. And so I'm going to give you an example with overage and one without. That's what I'm going to do right now. So let's go ahead. I could put money down that some of you can already do it without this example, but let's just make sure we are okay here. So Brent owns a home in Metro Winnipeg, so we know which area. He wants 175,000 of comprehensive coverage. And let's do the deductible a different color because you're going to do that at the end. $200 deductible. What is his annual rate before and after tax? What do you think we're going to do with the after tax? Get rid of it. So in my key, quite often I do the taxes at the end anyway, so you will be able to see the answer that you're looking for. All right. So I'm going to go insurance. This is a short version of it. Table plus, I'm just going to go over. There's a cost per thousand over 1,000. And then we multiply this by 1.10. So what we're going to try to do here is see what we need. So the $200 deductible, that's taken care of by this. The $200 deductible is already done. So, but we don't do it until the very end. So check, that's there. Max is 200,000, right? So we no overage. Okay, there's no overage in this case. Yay, right? We're happy about that. So we go get rid of this. That's gone. So we're gonna go get our rate from our table. I'm gonna use the pink chart. If you could follow me, that'd be great. Remember, you have to pick one. You have to pick a number from that table. Go find this one. I don't know about you, but the first thing I do is I want the money amount. So I go down the left side where my orange highlighter is. I'm going to go find 175. What else am I going to do? I'm going to see which area do I live in this case. It's Winnipeg. Is it standard or comprehensive? Help me out. Comprehensive? Okay, so I'm going to go this. So just go down here and just match them up. 175. That's $668 per year. These are always yearly amounts. Okay, so we grab that number. 668. That's it. Times 1.10. So we just grab that. Did you all get 668? Because sometimes I get the wrong number, so you got to help me out here when that happens. Oh, no. But I didn't plus, sorry. It's supposed to be. So that's why I like these calculators, because they show you that. It's 734.8, but it's dollars, so we have to go 80. That's it. Now you know the yearly insurance rate for this house in Winnipeg. All right. One more. Okay. So Jill owns a house in Pine Falls within 8 miles of a fire hydrant. What's going on there? Area 3, okay, that I recognize. Well, I'm going to tell you this. There used to be a time where you had to figure out what the area was based on the description. And so if you were within 8 miles of a fire hydrant outside the city, that was considered Area 3. But nowadays, they just told us they're going to tell you the area, right? Because it's not geography after all, it's math, right? So, yeah, but they do look at how close a fire hall is to your place. They look at a fire hydrant, right? Because if the trucks can only hold so much water, did you know that, right? Like they run out of water, so they connect to a fire hydrant to keep pumping water. So if they're close to it, then well, 8 miles is still a long, but within 8 miles, I guess is considered less risky. So they'll put you in Area 3, so they have a rate for that. Anyways, we want 225,000, okay? So coverage, you want 225,000. The max I know is 200,000. That is given to me by the table. So what do we call this? We call this overage. So just subtract. So you're going to pay 25,000. You're going to have to buy extra insurance for the 25,000. You're over the max. Okay. I kind of do it right away because I know that my max is 200,000 and it's a house. So here we go. Insurance. I will write out the whole thing. This is a very simplified version of what I gave you. What can we get rid of? This is a $500 deductible, correct? Do we need this? We don't. Everything that's on the table it's already a $500 deductible, so we get rid of this. Okay. Thank you, Michaela. Drives me crazy too. So let's go get our table value from this. Okay, I'm going to cover it up, but I will undo it later. So how are we going to do this now? I think that fits in there right there. I'm going to use a green and an orange. So the problem is you max out. So go all the way to 200. Area 3, is it standard or comprehensive? Can you read? Standard? Okay. So area 3, right? I'm going to go to standard and just go all the way down. And I'm going to grab the 726, but I'm also going to remember the 355. If you're like my memory, it takes only 2 seconds to forget. So I'm going to try 726, 355. Okay, there, I got it. It's down. So 355 over 1,000, you're going to pay extra. $726. Right? So you pay $726 for the first $200,000 worth of insurance. You need to buy an extra coverage for the 25,000 that follows. I'm going to go arrow from here. And plug it in right there. I don't really need the square brackets right now because we're not going to be multiplying by 1.10 out here, but I'm going to keep them in this line anyways. So here we go. 726 plus, let's figure this out. No rushing here. Okay, so 25,000 times 355 divided by 1,000. That's 88.75. It shouldn't be too outrageous, that number, but it should also not be too small, right? If it's too small, then something went wrong. So I'm going to add these two together. So we're at 814.75. There we go. This is yearly premium. Or annual premium is the same thing. All right. So I'm going to give you some time to practice this. Because let's face it, you need to practice this. There's no like one example I got it, right? Because I'm going to throw different examples at you. One thing I just need to remind you is whenever it says after taxes, you're going to ignore that. I want you to actually cross it off in your booklet. So if this says, hey, find this after tax, just ignore the after tax part. In fact, I don't know, some of you went to the bathroom, came back. The formula at the very top, the big formula, has the 1.07. Get rid of that. You don't pay taxes anymore on insurance. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to work on page, what is it, 53? Let me just check here. Oh, you got to watch out. 53 is apartment, right? That's tenant insurance. You got to use the other table. So I'm just going to say right now 54 to 55. 53 you can also do because it's tenant. That's what we did yesterday, tenant insurance. I'm telling you one more time, the only difference is homeowners insurance is way bigger table. They need to give you more information. Tenant insurance is just that, where it doesn't matter where you live. It's just your stuff that gets insured. Okay. So I'm going to give you some time to practice this. So 53 to 55, but right now I'd like you to do 54 first to do the homeowners insurance. I want to talk about a few more things in your booklets. So this is just going to cover concepts. I'm not going to do any math right now. So I just want you to go with me to 49. So I'm going to ask you to highlight and fill in as needed. Okay, homeowners insurance, 49. Okay, so it protects owners against fire, burglary, flood, and storm damage. It covers the contents, building, and liability. So let's say somebody gets injured while they're on your property. This could also cover you there. Okay. House insurance, insurance for people owning a house or condominium, covers the contents and the building itself. Lending institutions, which is your bank, will not release a mortgage until proof of property insurance is given. So before they give you the money to buy that house, they're going to ask for that. Okay, I don't expect you to memorize all of this, but I do need you to have a few of these concepts down. These are some of the things that affect your insurance. So I would pick maybe 2 or 3 things from here. Where you live. Let's say you draw a blank. Let's say you draw a blank. What affects my insurance? Look at this table. What do you do to figure out what rate you're going to pay? You look for where you live, correct? What else do you look for? How much are you insuring for? Right? Whether you're picking standard or comprehensive. So a lot of the answers are right here. But except for you don't always have this one on the exam. Okay. So there are 4 areas. Are you in a high crime area? Are you in an area that is more likely to get flooded? Like if you're close to the river, guess what? You're probably in more, there's a higher chance for you to have water damage. So that's going to affect you. What type of coverage? Is it standard or comprehensive? The value of the home. Are you getting any additional coverage? This is important. 3 types of damage protection against water. I did not know this until there was it 2 years ago, where there was a lot of basements in my neighborhood had water in them. I call my insurance companies like, hey, I want insurance. They're like, nope. Right now, we're not insuring anybody. We're not allowing you to add because guess what? They probably think that my basement has some damage. So they're like, nope, we're overwhelmed right now. So there was something called a moratorium on extra insurance. So I had to wait half a year. So I told my insurance, okay, as soon as I'm able, I want to get this extra insurance. So there's something called overland flooding, groundwater flooding, and sewer backup flooding. That's the nastiest of them all. What do you think sewer backup means? Sewer is literally coming into your basement. Other people's poop is coming into your, yeah, it's pretty nasty. So you need to have all three if you want to be for sure protected against water damage, which is, it's quite a bit of money, but I took it. Deductible. Okay. So let's say somebody breaks into your house and the window costs $500 to replace. If you have a $200 deductible, the insurance would give you, they would say, oh, this is the cost of the item. We'll take away your deductible. That's why it's called the deductible. They deduct it from what they're giving you so that you pay some of it. So you would get 300. Guess what? If the thing that you're claiming is broken and you have a $500 deductible, you're going to get zero, right? So is it worth it making a claim? Nope. Because guess what? Just like a car accident, if you're in an accident, you were at fault. You now have a history. You're gonna pay more. Okay, you're gonna pay more. I hope you understand deductible by the time we're done because it shows up in vehicle finance. Shows up here. Hold on, hold on. One more thing. Very important, actually. You can tell your parents about this. They might not know this, but you could be qualifying for discounts, right? Do you have a claim-free history? Do you have an alarm system? How many of you have an alarm system installed? Tell your insurance company you might get 10 to 15% off a year. My insurance is like $1,200 a year. Getting 10% off is like $120 less, right? I don't know about you, but I can think of a lot of things I could spend that money instead of just giving it to them, right? If it's monitored, you get an extra 5% often, 10 to 15 altogether. Um, what is the one that I wanted to talk about here in discounts? I'll just leave it for now. The building itself. The building itself, isn't it old? How old is it? Is it a bungalow, 2 stories, side by side? Is the garage attached or detached? All those things matter. Okay. Thank you guys. I hope you have a good weekend.